You think months of no contact means she forgot you and moved on for good. But the truth is, time does not kill attraction nearly as fast as weakness, desperation, and the version of you she got tired of carrying. You think winning her back is about saying the perfect words, sending the perfect text, catching her in a soft moment when she misses you. It's not. It's about whether the man she left is still standing there begging for another chance, or whether that man is gone and someone stronger took his place. Listen carefully. If you need reminders like this when your emotions start lying to you, subscribe now. Because weak days are real, lonely nights are real, and your mind will try to drag you back into chasing, overthinking, and humiliating yourself. You do not need more comfort. You need the truth at the exact moment you're about to betray your own self-respect. Here's what this really means. You do not win her back by trying to get her back. You win her back, if it happens at all, by becoming the kind of man who no longer needs to. That's the thesis. That's the whole game. And if you miss that, you will turn no contact into a strategy, a performance, a silent tantrum dressed up as discipline. You will sit there counting days, checking stories, decoding songs, asking your friends what her post meant, wondering if she's seeing someone, wondering if she misses you, wondering if you should text first, wondering if she's testing you. That is not no contact. That's called emotional slavery. You think the problem is distance. The hard truth is, the problem is usually what the distance revealed. Silence doesn't create the truth. Silence exposes it. When you can't text her, can't explain yourself, can't pull her back with attention, can't smooth things over with chemistry, can't use access to create the illusion of connection, what's left? You, your habits, your emptiness, your lack of direction, your inability to sit still without female validation, your addiction to being wanted, your fear of being replaced, your panic when you are no longer in control. That's what comes to the surface. And why does this happen? Because most men do not lose women in the moment of the breakup. They lose them long before that. They lose them in the small moments, the inconsistency, the emotional volatility, the drifting, the half-finished plans, the passive life, the hidden resentment, the neediness disguised as love, the over-pursuing after under-leading, the promises with no follow-through, the intensity with no stability, the words with no weight. She doesn't just react to what you say, she reacts to what it feels like to be connected to you. Does it feel grounded? Does it feel safe? Does it feel masculine, calm, directed, real? Or does it feel like she has to manage your moods, interpret your confusion, and reward your effort just to keep the relationship alive? That's where most men lie to themselves. They say, "But I loved her." Maybe you did, but love without discipline becomes pressure. Love without direction becomes chaos. Love without self-respect becomes pleading. Love without purpose becomes obsession. And obsession is not attractive. It's heavy. It's needy. It's exhausting. A woman does not want to become your oxygen. She wants to stand beside a man who can breathe on his own. So let's destroy the biggest misconception right now. You are not going to win her back by reminding her how much you care. She already knows. You are not going to win her back by sending paragraphs. You are not going to win her back by proving you're in pain. Pain does not create trust. Desperation does not create desire. Guilt does not create attraction. If anything, it confirms the exact fear she had about you, that your center of gravity is outside yourself. And that costs you more than the relationship. It costs you your edge. It costs you your sleep. It costs you your dignity. It costs you your focus at work. It costs you your body because you stop training. It costs you your standards because now you'll do anything for a crumb of attention. It costs you your identity because your whole emotional life starts orbiting one woman's response. One text, one view, one maybe, one almost, one false hope. And when a man lives like that, he doesn't just lose her. He loses command of himself. You need a reframe, a brutal one. Her moving on is not the end of your story. It is the test of whether you ever had a story without her. If your entire plan for life was the relationship, then of course the breakup shattered you. If your body was neglected, your mind undisciplined, your purpose blurry, your routines weak, your boundaries porous, then yes, when she left, Everything collapsed because everything was built around being chosen. That's not love. That's dependency dressed in romantic language. Now, let me tell you what winning her back really looks like. It does not look like chasing her into certainty. It looks like becoming unrecognizable in the ways that matter. Quieter, clearer, stronger, more grounded, less reactive, less available to nonsense, more committed to truth than to fantasy, more committed to action than to image, more committed to your mission than to your moods. You stop trying to look changed, you become changed. Big difference. One is performance, the other is identity. Because women can feel the difference between a man who is acting disciplined to get a result and a man who has become disciplined because he respects himself now. One feels tactical, the other feels real. One is waiting for a reward, the other is living from principle. One says, "Look how much I've improved, please notice." The other says nothing and lets reality speak. That's the man. The man who has a shot at getting her back after months of silence is not the loudest man, not the smoothest man, not the man with the best line. It is the man who has rebuilt his center. He wakes up and handles his body. He handles his money. He handles his word. He handles his emotions without dumping them on everybody else. He does not stalk. He does not beg. He does not send emotional essays at midnight because he feels lonely. He does not use social media like a fishing net for female attention. He does not pretend to move on while secretly waiting by the phone. He is not playing dead to trigger a reaction. He is living fully, cleanly, independently. He has boundaries. That means he does not bargain with disrespect. He has purpose. That means his day is not empty enough to be devoured by obsession. He has groundedness. That means he can want something deeply without collapsing if he doesn't get it. He has self-respect. That means he will not crawl to be chosen by someone who is unsure. He can love a woman and still refuse to become smaller for access to her. He can miss her and still keep his posture. He can feel pain and still move with discipline. That is strength, not numbness, not arrogance, strength. And understand this. When a woman says she's moved on, sometimes she has. Respect that. Don't turn this into a manipulative game. Don't try to interfere with her life. Don't orbit around her. Don't lurk. Don't recruit mutual friends to report on her. Don't post indirect messages for her to decode. Don't manufacture jealousy. That's not masculine. That's cowardly. If she's gone unless reality creates a new opening. Your job is not to force one. Your job is to become the kind of man who is prepared if one appears and unbroken if it doesn't. So what do? First, you tell yourself the truth about why it ended. Not the flattering version, the true version. Where were you weak? Where were you passive? Where were you dishonest with yourself? Where did you confuse attention with love? Where did you expect her to carry emotional weight that was yours to carry? Where did you become too available, too reactive, too approval-seeking, too careless, too stagnant? Name it. Name it without drama. Name it without self-pity. A man cannot change what he keeps romanticizing. Second, you stop all invisible begging. You stop checking her socials. You stop rereading old texts. You stop asking mutual friends what she said about you. You stop making playlists out of pain and calling it healing. You stop rehearsing future conversations in your head. You stop trying to feel connected through memory because reality is gone. You stop. Why? Because every one of those habits trains your nervous system to stay attached to fantasy instead of facing the present. That's called feeding the wound. Third, you redirect your energy into concrete proof of order. Train your body hard, not because abs get her back, but because discipline changes your chemistry. Build your schedule, tighten your finances, increase your income, read more, drink less, sleep earlier, clean your space, rebuild male friendships, create things, finish things, handle business you've been delaying. Why does this matter? Because heartbreak makes you feel powerless, and disciplined action restores agency. Every promise you keep to yourself becomes a brick in a new identity. Brick by brick, day by day, no applause, no audience, just proof. Fourth, you rebuild your emotional posture. That means you stop worshiping intensity. A lot of men think love should feel overwhelming, consuming, uncontrollable. No, that's usually your unresolved hunger calling itself passion. Real power is calm. Real confidence is quiet. Real masculinity is not dramatic, it is stable, it is measured, it does not panic when reality hurts, it does not need instant relief, it can hold tension without leaking all over the room. If you are the kind of man who immediately reaches for your phone the second you feel empty, you are not in control of yourself yet. Fifth, if enough time has passed and you have genuinely changed, not cosmetically but structurally, you can reach out once. Cleanly, calmly, no pressure, no guilt, no hidden contract, no "I've been doing a lot of thinking" paragraph, no emotional debt, just simple, grounded contact that leaves her free. Why? Because a desperate man tries to force a response. A centered man offers an opening and can handle either outcome. If she responds warmly, good. Go slowly, let consistency speak. If she responds coldly, respectfully, ambiguously, or not at all, you accept it and keep moving. You do not argue with reality. You do not negotiate attraction. You do not campaign for a position in someone's life. That is where most men fail. They can handle silence for months, but the moment they reopen contact, all the old weakness comes rushing back. One delayed response and they spiral. One dry text and they overcompensate. One small sign of interest, and they flood her with energy she did not ask for. Why? Because they did not actually change. They merely paused. They suppressed. They waited. They disguised obsession as patience. And the second possibility appears, the old self returns. Don't be that man. Be the man who can reconnect without losing his frame. Be the man who can speak without chasing. Be the man who can flirt without attaching his identity to the result. Be the man who can invite without pleading. Be the man who can walk away without bitterness. Be the man whose self-respect does not rise and fall with a woman's mood. Let me get even more direct. If your secret plan is to improve just enough to make her regret losing you, you are still trapped. If your gym progress, your business focus, your new discipline, your calmer energy, your better style, your stronger boundaries, if all of it is still emotionally chained to her reaction, then you are not free. You are still performing. You are still asking, "Am I enough now?" That question alone tells you you've made her the judge of your worth. She is not. You hear me? She is not the judge of your worth. She may be the mirror that exposed your weakness. She may be the catalyst that woke you up. She may be the loss that forced you into truth. But she is not the source of your value. If you keep giving women that power, you will repeat the same cycle with her or with the next one. Different face, same wound. And this is why some men actually do get a woman back after months of no contact. Not because they mastered some trick. Not because they became mysterious, not because they timed a text under the full moon and used the perfect wording. They got her back because the version of them she left no longer existed. The insecurity was addressed. The drift was corrected. The emotional chaos was replaced with groundedness. The attention addiction died. The life became fuller. The presence became stronger. And when she encountered him again, she did not just hear that he changed. She felt that he had. Presence versus performance, reality versus fantasy, substance versus strategy. But hear this too, some of those men never got her back, and they still won. That's the part your ego doesn't want to hear. You are so focused on the outcome that you miss the actual victory. The actual victory is becoming a man who is no longer begging life to go backward, a man who no longer needs a specific woman to validate his future, a man who can love deeply without abandoning himself, a man who can lose and still rise, a man who can remember her without worshiping her, a man who can accept the closed door and keep building the house. That's power. So if you're serious, here is your internal sequence. Stop romanticizing the past. Tell the truth about your part. Cut the habits that keep you mentally attached. Build structure so your life is not one big emotional waiting room. Strengthen your body because physical discipline teaches mental obedience. Strengthen your purpose because an empty man always over-pursues love. Strengthen your standards because if you don't value yourself, every interaction becomes negotiation. Then, and only then, if contact makes sense, make it simple and honest. No performance, no pressure. If there is a spark, let it breathe. If there isn't, leave with dignity. You do not chase closure. You create it. You do not wait to feel ready. You train until your behavior changes. You do not prove your love through suffering. You prove your growth through conduct. You do not get your power back by being missed. You get it back by becoming solid. That's how a man resets his life. And let's talk about the obsession with whether she has moved on. Maybe she has. Maybe she's dating someone else. Maybe she says she's happier. Maybe she genuinely is. What then? Do you collapse? Do you decide your story is over? Do you turn cynical and say all women are the same? Do you harden into some bitter shell and call it wisdom? No, that's weakness wearing armor. The stronger move is harder. You bless what you cannot control and keep building anyway. Not because it doesn't hurt, because it does, but because your pain is not your excuse to self-destruct. Your pain is your invitation to become precise, to become honest, to become dangerous in the right way, focused, disciplined, unshakable, not toxic, not manipulative, not cold, just clear. You want her back? Then become the kind of man who can stand in front of any woman, including her, with clean eyes and a steady voice. No hidden desperation, no need to impress, no resentment, no performance, just presence, just truth, just strength. That energy changes every conversation. Not because it tricks anyone, but because it reveals that you finally stop trying to be loved at the expense of being respected by yourself. And if she comes back, understand the assignment. Do not restart the old relationship with a new haircut. Do not return to over-availability. Do not become lazy once you feel secure again. Do not make her your purpose. Do not build your world around keeping her. Lead yourself first. Keep your routines. Keep your standards. Keep your honesty. Keep your edge. The relationship can only be as healthy as the man who enters it. If you revert, you repeat. So no, this is not about some little script to get her texting again. This is bigger than that. This is about whether this loss is going to reduce you or refine you, whether silence is going to break you or build you, whether rejection is going to make you petty or precise, whether you are going to spend the next 6 months looking backward or become the man the next 6 years are waiting for. Choose. Because every day you spend worshiping what left is a day you abandon what could be built. Every day you spend checking her life is a day you neglect your own. Every day you spend asking whether she misses you is a day you avoid becoming a man you would respect. And that's the final truth. The real woman you need back is your self-respect. The real relationship you need to repair is the one with your word. The real attraction you need to rebuild is the attraction between who you say you are and how you actually live. Once that alignment comes back, everything changes. Your posture changes. Your standards change. Your conversations change. Your choices change. The women you attract change. The way you handle uncertainty changes. Life changes. Maybe she returns. Maybe she doesn't. But either way, you stop being the man who needed saving. You become the man who can create. You become the man who can lead. You become the man who can lose something beautiful without losing himself. And that man is rare. That man is respected. That man is attractive in a way no tactic can fake. So stand up, get honest, get disciplined, get out of fantasy, get back to work. Let the old version of you die completely, not for revenge, not for validation, not to make her jealous, for freedom, for peace, for self-command, for the life that is waiting on the other side of this obsession. You are not trying to become good enough for one woman to reconsider you. You are becoming so real, so grounded, so aligned that your whole life stops depending on who stays and who leaves. That is the shift. That is the win. That is how you win her back, if it's possible at all. And that is how you win yourself back no matter what happens. You are not helpless. You are not behind. You are not finished. You are in the fire, and the fire is not there to destroy you. It is there to expose what is weak so you can remove it. Let it. Stop resisting the lesson. Stop negotiating with your lower self. Stop calling your attachment love when it is really fear of emptiness. Face it. Clean it up. Grow. Because at the end of this, if you do it right, you won't be asking, how do I get her back? You'll be asking, why was I ever willing to live beneath my own standard? That's the right question. And once you ask the right question, your life starts giving you better answers. You are the answer. If you want more truth like this, subscribe. So the next time your emotions start begging for shortcuts, you hear a voice that pulls you back to clarity, discipline, and self-respect. And if you're one of the men who's done pretending, who's done chasing, who's done abandoning himself for attention, then stay close. You're not alone here. You're with people who are rebuilding for real.